Hello, and welcome to a walkthrough of the AEM 1305 CAD exercise. Um, we're going to be walking through a little tutorial of how to use Onshape and a start to sketching and assembly of parts. So to start, during the AEM 1305, AEM 1305 class, go to modules, scroll down to week 7 here. We have intro to CAD through Onshape right here, PDF. Click on that, and this is going to be the document that we are walking through. So to start, it gives a little preamble about CAD, and until it shows you how to sign up. Click this, go to this education plan where you sign in, enter some of your information, and get an education account. It's important to use your university email when you're making this education account. If you already have an Onshape account, that will work just fine for this activity as well. So I already have an account, so I'm gonna navigate to the mine. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go down this tab called public over here, and you're gonna search for the activity. Go to public, see a large list of many different parts and assembly files that people have made. But we're gonna look up AEM 1305 CAD exercise. You should be the first one. It should be owned by, so it should say Ethan TJ, but it's owned by me, so it says me. So you'll click on that. You won't actually be able to edit this project at all because you're not the owner. So you need to make a copy. So you go up to these three bars in the top left, click on that, put copy workspace, then name it something like AEM 1305 CAD exercise, and then your initials or your name. So I'm going to do ETJ. Great copy. Great. Now, as it's loading, we're going to first walk through a brief intro to sketching and making parts, and then we're going to walk through assembly of those parts. So when you're making a new part, go down to this Insert New Tab button in the bottom left, click on it, go to Create Part Studio right here, click on that, it will launch the Part Studio. So to start, we're going to make a little cube with some holes cut through it. So we're going to create a new sketch, select the top plane, start a sketch, right click, and say View Normal to Sketch Plane. Allows us to see the whole sketch plane square on. There's three main tools that we'll use. There's this line tool here. There's this rectangle tool. Both these in the top left. Then near the middle right, there's a dimension tool. So to start, we're going to draw a square. So select the rectangle tool, select two corners, and it draws a square. Then select the dimension tool, select one of these corners, click, and then you're able to enter a dimension. In this case, we'll do 3 inches. Now we'll select the other side. We'll also type in 3 inches to make a square. Next, we're going to make a hole. So it's going to be another 1 inch by 1 inch hole through the center of this part. We'll select the rectangle tool again. Click a couple times to make our hole. And now we'll dimension our hole. 1 inch by 1 inch. Now you'll notice that the lines of this hole that we've just made are still blue. They're not black. That means they're not completely defined. The computer program Onshape knows what the dimensions of these lines are, but it doesn't know where they are with respect to anything. If I were to click and drag, I could move this part around. So we want to tell it where this whole square hole should be. So we'll click the dimension tool and we'll say we want it, select one of the sides of the hole, one of the sides of our larger square. We'll say we want it to be in the center, so that's 1 inch away from the side. So now some of the lines turn black. That means those have been located. We'll do the same the top side as well. 1 inch. So now you can see that our drawing is completely made of black lines. That means it's fully defined. The computer program knows where everything is. So we can click this green check mark right here. That finishes our sketch, and now we want to extrude the sketch or make material come out of the sketch. So there's this extrude tool in the top left. We'll click that. Under this faces and sketch regions to extrude, we'll select our sketch right here on the left tab. Then if you right click, you can rotate the camera. We want to extrude this so it's a cube, so we'll extrude it 3 inches by changing the depth. You're also able to switch direction of the extrusion if you see fit. We'll click the check mark to confirm. Now we're going to make another sketch on the side of this square. So we'll select the sketch button in the top left. We'll at this time click the side of the cube and we'll create a sketch plane on that cube. Right click again, view normal to sketch plane. Now we're going to make another rectangle, but instead we're going to use the line tool. So we're going to just draw first. I like to just draw my general shape. And then afterwards, I'll come in with dimensions and I'll dimension everything. So I've drawn a rectangle using the line tool. And now I'll use my dimension tool. And we're going to make this one slightly different dimensions. It'll be 1 inch by 2 inch. So we've made another rectangle to cut a hole out of, but it's 1 inch by 2 inch in dimensions. Now we're going to locate it with respect to our part. So we'll select 2 of the sides. Similarly, dimension this, I'll do 1/2 inch. Since from this side, we'll say 1 inch. Now we fully located our sketch. Click the check mark. We'll click the extrude tool again to cut the hole. We'll select our sketch number 2. Rotate the camera using the right click. And now we see, instead of cutting a hole, we are actually extruding the hole. Now, different programs will have different tools, but in Onshape, it's the same tool. You just have to select add or remove under the extrude toolbar. So we'll select the remove. So we're going to remove the material. We're going to select this end type and we're going to say through all. That just means I want to cut through anything in this region. We could have also selected the blind option and entered a specific distance, but we want to just cut through the whole thing. So we'll select through all. Then we'll click the green check mark. We'll rotate the camera and see we now have a part that has a couple holes in it. And that is the end of the part making part of the workshop or warm up. Now we're going to do some assembly. So when assembling, you're going to take 2 parts that you've already made and then join them together. So in this instance, we have a 1/4 inch threaded rod right here, and we have a bulk plate right here. Now we have some other parts have already been made for you, including a 1/4 inch nut. So we're going to insert that into this assembly. To make a new assembly, you'd select this insert new tab and then say create assembly, but that's already been done for you. So back to inserting a part. The top left, there's a insert button. You'll click that. You'll select the part you want to insert, in this case, the 1/4 inch nut. And then you'll click where you want to place it and then click the green check mark. So to start, we're going to make the threaded rod to the bulk plate. Use the fasten mate tool. Select the part that we want to mate. Select where we want to mate it to. And now we actually want part of the threaded rod to stick above the bulk plate. So we're going to select this offset tool under the fasten pop-out window. And we'll look at our directions and it looks like we want it to stick up, and that's the Z direction here in blue. So we'll just say about 1 inch. Now we see that looks good. I like it. So we'll click this green check mark to confirm. And now we have these 2 parts fastened to each other. So if I move one, it moves both. Now we want to take this nut and we want to fasten it to this part as well. All right. So there's different kinds of mates that you're able to do. In this instance, we did a fastener mate to secure the threaded rod to the bulk plate. And we're going to do something similar to secure this nut to the threaded rod. We're going to select the fasten mate. Select the cylindrical opening of the nut. Select the top of the threaded rod. Again, we want to offset it a little bit. So we'll select offset, see that it's in a Z direction. Enter a dimension, let's say 1 inch. See it's in the wrong direction, so we'll click this flip primary axis button down here. And we'll click the check mark and see that we have our nut. Looks like it's in place, securing the threaded rod to the bulk plate. That is a quick intro to the assembly process. In this project, you'll make your own part, probably a sled to hold your electronics, and then you'll have a lot of practice assembling practice avionics bay. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Professor Flaughton or myself. Yeah, thanks for watching.